Getting into a car crash means time spent speaking with insurance agents and money spent on repairs or replacements. It can be even more complicated when someone else causes you to crash. But what if someone causes you to crash without actually hitting your car? We're joined right now by attorneys Brandon Dawson and Jeffrey Ward with the Thumbs Up Guys for some guidance on this subject. This is a tough one, guys. Good morning to
we
you.
get a lot of calls about
Happens
this.
a lot.
Yeah. So how can lawyers prove fault if you don't make contact with that driver?
Yeah, so there's actually some statutory requirements for proving fault, especially if the person takes off and you're filing what's called an uninsured motorist claim, and that uninsured motorist insurance coverage is on every policy written in South Carolina. It has to be included, so you have this even if you don't even realize it. But you have to timely report it to the police. So I always tell folks, I know you're probably busy, you want to maybe just keep going, but stop, call the police, have them come out, do a report. One thing that's a little tricky without paint transfer, so no contact, you have to have an unbiased third-party witness vouch for it. And you think about that for the sake of preventing fraud. If you're the driver or the owner of the car, you can't be that witness because you have a vested interest in this. So they require that either a passenger who doesn't own and wasn't driving the car vouch for what you're saying, or another car that stops. But that is the biggest hurdle we run into far too often. Somebody gets run off the road, it's late at night, they're all alone, there's no way to prove it, and unfortunately that is something that the government in South Carolina says you can't pursue under your own insurance. So those are the two big things. And then obviously after all that, get checked out. If you're hurt, you want it documented, you want to go to the ER, you want to go to a doctor, just to make sure whatever's bothering you is addressed as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so what are your legal options if that other driver can't be identified or contacted?
Yeah, like Jeff said, I mean, you're filing an uninsured motorist claim, assuming you're able to follow all those steps, and then you're collecting, against that policy. It steps in, it essentially says, hey, we don't know who it was. Or it's the same if somebody hit you and didn't have insurance. It kind of fills those two gaps, and it says, okay, well, this is the amount of coverage. You actually get to dictate how much coverage that is. It's like Jeff said, it's mandatory on your policy. You have to have it, whether you want it or not. It's in there at a state minimum of $25,000 per injury, and so you can actually have more than that. You could have $50,000, $100,000, $1 million in coverage, and so you just file that against your own insurance at that point in time. And that's one that a lot of people. The main question is, what's going to make my rates go up? Well, if you didn't do anything wrong, your rates are not going up. Now, rates always go up. I don't know if you've seen that. I've never had them call me up and say, hey, your rates are going down. It just doesn't happen, right? We have more people on the road. Cars are getting more expensive. We're printing money like crazy. So everything is just going up, unfortunately. So sometimes people will say, well, my rate went up. I'm like, well, did it go up more than it went up last time? No. Okay. Now, if you're filing multiple uninsured motorist claims, maybe they're going to look at it and say, gosh, Emily seems to get in a lot of really weird wrecks. Maybe we don't want to insure her. Maybe she's driving in weird routes that are really high liability, high risk areas, and we just don't want to insure that anymore.
Well, it's also nice to know that there are protections out there, because these, I'm sure, can be difficult when you get cases like this. And this is something you see pretty often, it seems like.
Yeah, luckily now with cameras being everywhere, we've had success locating drivers who don't stick around and do the right thing that way. Witnesses are huge. If we have a witness who remembers a license plate, that's another big one. Talking about earlier, if somebody runs you off the road, if you have the wherewithal and you can think in the moment to look up and get that license plate, we can find them. There's things we can submit to the DMV. We can track them down. We can find their insurance without ever even without ever having to even talk to them. So if you see even a partial plate, helps us a lot. And we have connections with, Highway Patrol or the local police that they can help us out with that too. So we always are trying to find the responsible party. But like Brandon said, you are protected. South Carolina did put measures in place to make sure you're not left holding the bag if you're hurt, if your car's damaged, as long as these very specific steps are followed.
Well, technology is our friend with this one.
Having dash cams helps. Like Jeff said, there's a lot of cameras out there. I had a case a couple years ago where some girls got hit in a crosswalk, driver took off. they got a partial plate. We were able to ultimately track it down, working with the local authorities, and they have the plate scanners, and we narrowed it down. And there were a couple that matched that were. We figured out where they were located. The one car had some blood and some hair on it, and we were able to find them and ended up making a recovery against that driver. Made a significant difference in both of those girls' lives that got hit. And so, again, you got to let us know early so that we can get that footage, get it preserved, and do our job.
Yeah. Great tips there from both of you guys. Don't forget, if you want to learn more about this topic or any other topic, you can contact the Thumbs Up guys. We're going to put their website and phone number right there on the screen. Super easy. Go to inpain.com. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.